Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Stacy Manley, and I have the privilege of serving as Vice President of Community Engagement with Hospice East Bay. It's a true honor for me to be with you here this evening as we come together in remembrance and to honor the lives of those we have lost. Tonight, we reflect on their legacies, the love they shared, and the memories they left behind. So as we gather this evening, we're reminded of the importance of community, of how we lean on one another, both in times of joy and in times of sorrow. And so as we pay tribute to our departed loved ones, we also want to share some of the work that Hospice East Bay continues to do in their honor, guided by our mission to provide compassionate care to those at the end of their earthly journey. So founded in 1977, Hospice East Bay is the only nonprofit hospice in Contra Costa County. For nearly 5 decades, we've remained steadfast in our commitment to providing high quality, compassionate care to all who need it, regardless of their ability to pay. Our services extend across Contra Costa County, as well as parts of Alameda and Solano counties. And each year, we're privileged to provide hospice care to more than 1,500 patients and families. And in the current year, we've had the honor of serving 110 residents from Concord who have received care through our services. We also are proud of the community-based palliative care program, which has served more than 78 patients to date. We're deeply grateful for the generous support of donors like you, whose contributions make it possible for us to offer unique programs, which include music therapy, where trained therapists use the healing power of music to bring moments of peace to patients and their families. Our veteran-centered care, where a dedicated social worker helps veterans and their families navigate the unique challenges of end-of-life care, ensuring that they receive the benefits and support that they have rightfully earned through their service to our country. Our bereavement services, which are available to all members of our community, whether or not they have received care through our hospice programs. These services are offered both in person and virtually to ensure that no one is left to grieve alone. And finally, our 6 thrift shops play an essential role in supporting our programs, and we are eternally grateful for the donations of gently used items, the proceeds of which go to subsidize these very important programs. So it's only through the generosity of East Bay communities that we're able to continue to provide these vital services to those in need. So if there are any questions, please feel free to reach out to any member of our staff. I'm going to ask those folks just to recognize themselves by raising their hand, or visit our website at hospiceeastbay.org. So as we remember those we have lost this evening, we celebrate the enduring impact they've had on our lives and in our hearts. Thank you for your presence here this evening and for your ongoing support. Your kindness helps us continue our mission, and together we carry forward the memory and spirit of those we love. So before I introduce our next speaker, first I'd like to take a few moments to make a few very special acknowledgments. First, I'd like to thank Mr. James Funk for providing the music tonight, the good folks at John Muir Health, and the National Charity League volunteers. I'd also like to thank our Eternal Light donors, Rudney Associates, American Asphalt, and Carolyn Butler, our Shining Light donors, Sylvia Howard, and our Bright Light donors, Louise Haley, Laura Hoffmeister, Dan Pellegrini, Linda Papenfuss, and Jack and Mary Sweet. And now, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing the Honorable Eddie Bursan, Mayor of the City of Concord.
Well, I can tell you this, there's at least someone making a cry for help for a car. But here actually is a more somber day. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about my dear old dad, Saul Bursan. While he was my stepfather, he was to me dear old dad always. He was a scientist of a very extreme sort, chemical and biological scientist. And I remember as a kid he telling me, trying to explain the nature of the universe, that from the moment I was born, I started generating gravitational waves at the speed of light going out in all directions across the universe. Every smile that I had, every time I lifted my face up to the sun and gave thanks, that impact was in the gravitational wave going out further. Every time I took a hug or gave a hug, it was there. Everything that we do throughout all our lives as we move around the planet, as we move around our rooms, we are sending our imprint into the outer limits. And it goes forever. Somewhere around 1993, Dad passed Alpha Centauri. Somewhere now, he's taking a look. His impact is reaching Pegasus 51 light years from here. Everything that we do is imprinting on the universe. It's out there. You don't need to be overly religious. This is a very simple physical reality. Somehow, if we were able to capture these impacts and translate it, we could see what was going on in all the other planets on the entire universe. All of us will go forward with memories, and I want you to know that the memories are never lost, that they are out there, that all of us have an impact on all of us in the entire universe. We are never alone. What we have done is never alone, is never forgotten. It is just we don't know how to read it yet. And this is something that is important. As we remember those who have passed, we must remember that they are still moving, their impact is still there, and not only in us, but in the actual universe itself. And with that, I want to thank you, and I want to bring up Anthony Roman. Anthony? Somewhere? Who is the representative of John Muir. Thank you. There you go.
Get so close to the mic that you're almost touching it.
Okay.
Otherwise, I can't hear it.
Good evening. Welcome to all of you, and thank you for joining us for the 38th Annual Tree of Lights celebration on behalf of Hospice of the East Bay. I am honored to provide a welcome on behalf of John Muir Health and Michelle Lopes, who apologizes that she could not join you this evening, as this is one of her favorite events of the holiday season. A time to gather and remember those we have loved and lost. Each of you has chosen to join us tonight for different reasons. Some of you are here as employees of Hospice of the East Bay or John Muir Health, organizations tied together for many decades to care for our community. Some of you may be here because you have lost a loved one, and possibly John Muir Health or Hospice of the East Bay is a part of your lost journey. No matter the reason you've joined us, we are here in community to remember those we have lost. Michelle has had the honor to serve on the Hospice of the East Bay Board of Directors, and her stories of the Hospice of the East Bay and their tireless efforts on behalf of patients and their families have been an inspiration. In her role, serving, she has a special lens to the incredible commitment that they make to our community. I have heard her tell many countless compassionate stories about their patients and their families. The first Tree of Light ceremony was held in Danville, and the concept spread to the other communities we serve. This tree that we at John Muir Health are so proud to light tonight here at our Concord Medical Center, along with 12 other trees located throughout the East Bay, have provided a way for our families and friends to honor the lives of their families and friends. It is through these ceremonies that we find comfort and remember our loved ones. The lighting of the tree can signify many different things to each of us in attendance this evening. For John Muir Health, it is time for remembering and reflecting on our purpose, that of caring and healing and improving the health of the communities we serve. It also brings special meaning of hope to those who need it the most and for everyone at John Muir Health. From our physicians, nurses, clinicians, and support staff, and volunteers, we are humbled and honored and grateful to be a part of this effort. For our Hospice of the East Bay board and team members, it is a reminder of why they do the work they do. John Muir Health looks forward to the continued partnership with Hospice of the East Bay and looks forward to continuing to make a difference in the years to come. Thank you all for being here this evening.
I'm being followed by a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. Leaping up and on a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. And if I ever lose my hands, lose my plow, lose my land, if I ever lose my hands, I won't have to work no more. If I ever lose my legs, I won't moan and I won't beg. If I ever lose my legs, I won't have to walk no more. I'm being followed by a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. Leaping it up and on a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. If I ever lose my mouth, all my teeth north and south. If I ever lose my mouth, I won't have to talk no more. And if I ever lose my eyes, if my colors all run dry, if I ever lose my eyes, I won't have to cry. Take long to find me. I asked the faithful light. Did it take long to find me? Are you gonna stay the night? I'm being followed by a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. Leaping up and on a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. Shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow.
Good evening, I'm Vicki Reed. I'm going to be reading Shipwrecked. It's an excerpt taken from a blog attributed to G. Snow. As for grief, you will find it comes in waves. When the ship is first wrecked, you are drowning with wreckage all around you. Everything is floating around you, reminds you of the beauty and the magnificence of the ship that was and is no more. And all you can do is float. You find some piece of wreckage and you hang on for a while. Maybe it's some physical thing, or maybe it's a happy memory or a photograph. Maybe it's a person who's also floating. And for a while, all you can do is to float and stay alive. In the beginning, the waves are 100 feet tall and crash all over you without mercy. They come 10 seconds apart and don't even give you time to catch your breath. And all you can do is to hang on and float. After a while, maybe weeks or maybe months, you'll find that the waves are still 100 feet tall, but they come further apart. And when they come, they still crash all over you and wipe you out. But in between, you can breathe and you can function. You never know what's going to trigger the grief. It might be a song, a picture, or a street intersection, the smell of a cup of coffee. It can be just about anything, and the waves still come crashing. But in between the waves, there is life somewhere down the line, and it's different for everybody. You find that the waves are only 80 feet tall or 50 feet tall. And while they still come, they come further apart, and you can see them coming. An anniversary, a birthday, Christmas, or landing at O'Hare. You can see it coming, and for the most part, you will prepare yourself. And when it washes over you, you know somehow you will, again, come out on the other side, soaking wet, sputtering, still hanging on to some tiny piece of the wreckage, but you will come out. The waves never stop coming, and somehow you really don't want them to, but you learn that you will survive, and other waves will come, and you will survive them too.
You want to say no? Oh, you have another poem. Sorry. Yeah, I got it wrong. Sorry.
And now I have the honor of reading the names of those who passed on in remembrance. Jean Allen, Dorothy Allen, Catherine Andrade, Charles Banfield, Ceci Banfield, James Bennett, Bet Boatman, Sandra Borman, Donald L. Boucher, Eddie Chatterton, Mary Chatterton, Maria Geneva Coleman, Elizabeth Betty Dashner, Nancy Day, Tim Delara, Jeffrey Dreer, James F. Duncan, Joe Edwards, Grace Ellis, Jim Ellsbury, Mary Imke, Jim Estes, David Flory, Michael Foucha, Roslyn Facero. James Gillis. Jane Gillis. Terry Haley. Alfred Hoffmeister. Walt Howard. Dorothea Marie Howard. Roberta Hunter. Craig C.J. Johnson. Betty Ides Kitt. Thomas Daniel Kosinski. Robert Cruz. Cindy Cruz. Jody Cruz. Sharon Leonard. Sylvia Leonard. Roger Miller. Kev Moran. Janet Midori Nagafuji. Ashley Nichols. Leon Nielsen. Benito Orsini. Wesley Papenfuss. Lois Papenfuss. Ron Patton. Jesse Lee Peebles. Dan and Sharon Pimentel. David E. Pittman. Carol Schroeder Ramirez. Joe Ramirez. Rita Rijavec. Ernest Rogers. Tony Russo. Patricia W. Sable. Ken Scheidig. Henry Seagrove. Dolores Mendez Seagrove. Bill Sloan. Cheryl Sweet. Howard Sweet. Brian Sweet. Roger Leroy Thornton. Kevin Vesely. Edgar G. Villacorta. Maria Francia Peña Villena. Minnie Vines. Deborah Deb Walton. Nancy Washmera. Doris Watkins. Barbara Wright.
You can play the game, you can act out the part. No, it wasn't written for you. Tell me, how do you stand there with your broken heart? afraid of playing the fool. One thing can lead to another. It doesn't take any sacrifice. Oh, father and mother and sister and brother, if it feels nice, don't think twice. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way you feel tonight. Things are gonna work out better if you only will. What I mean to say to you is to shower the people you love with love. Show them the way you feel tonight. Things are gonna work out better if you only will. You can run, but you cannot hide. Oh, this is widely known. And what you plan to do with your foolish pride when you're all by yourself alone? Won't you tell somebody the way that you feel? You can feel it beginning to ease. I guess it's true what they say about this squeaky wheel, always getting grease. It's better to shower the people you love with love. Show them the way you feel tonight. Things are gonna work out better if you only will. And what I mean to say to you is to shower the people you love with love. Show them the way you feel tonight. Things are gonna work out better if you only will. Show the people you love and love. Show them the way you feel tonight. Things are gonna work out better if you only will.
Thank you, James. And now it is my honor to present to you the Concord Tree of Lights. We invite you to look onto the tree, pick a light, and make that your light. And every time you look at it, remember the person that you've lost in your memories together. On behalf of Hospice East Bay, I want to thank you all for coming tonight and supporting this very important work. Thank you, and have a great evening.